Welcome to Buffering Ping, the fast lane of the Buffering podcast, where we are breaking down big ideas and focusing on one sharp topic. And today, we're going to be talking about the paradigm of automotive service with Rivian and Tesla. The modern automotive landscape has been defined as a centralized reactionary service model. And over the past week, you actually got to experience firsthand how this model has changed to a more decentralized, convenience driven, proactive experience.
I sure did. And we're going to tell the story here in just a few minutes, Zach. But yes, I got to experience this firsthand for myself. And I cannot wait to get into the details of how this shift has occurred and how different it feels from the consumer perspective.
And let's talk about that traditional mindset here as well, that legacy mindset. So, your vehicle maintenance is characterized by reactionary service, as I mentioned. It's a high effort engagement. I read it's even anxiety inducing. There's this big time tax on it. You have to travel to a service center, wait. Maybe you have to arrange alternative transportation. But we're at a point now where this experience has evolved from being this supportive function to what I think is more of a core competitive strategy, right? There's ways we can eliminate that friction and generate a positive emotional response. And through our text messaging this week, I think you've had a positive emotional response. And what we're talking about here is really mobile service from companies like Tesla and Rivian. And they have fundamentally changed how the service experience is by allowing the service to be performed at your own location, directly eliminating the largest friction point, that interruption of your daily routine. Gabe, can you talk to us a little bit about what your service experience looked like?
Yeah, totally. And I love the time tax phrase that you used there, Zach. And I think that's so perfect. And
There's nothing I hate more than wasting time. It's my bit number one.
It's the worst. It's like you said, having to schedule time, go to the dealer service center or go to the dealership. Oh, I got to make sure my wife can come pick me up, or I got to hang out there for a few hours. So the story here was last week, the Tesla popped up that I needed to replace the battery. And there's two batteries in the Tesla. There's obviously the big battery that runs the car, and then there's a much smaller battery that just runs some of the, like the screen and, some of the other things that are needed in the car. So the small battery needed to be replaced. Thankfully, I'm not ready to spend like tens of thousands of dollars to replace the large battery. So thankfully, it was just a small battery. So I went into the app and it said, hey, this needs to be replaced. Do you want to schedule maintenance? And I was like, all right, well, let me take a look at this. So I went to schedule the maintenance. I assumed, Zach, that I was going to have to schedule maintenance out a ways. My assumption was like, oh man, when am I going to be able to find time to do this? It's probably going to be a few weeks down the road. I got this alert on Thursday. I could have scheduled the maintenance on Friday. Like that's how quickly they were able to turn it around.
And that's not something you typically see. But my favorite part of this whole thing, Gabe, is where the maintenance actually took place. We both work from home, so it might be a little bit easier for us to, take time out, go work in a dealership like everyone wants to do as your car is being maintained. But Gabe, where did this all take place?
Yeah, so got the alert in the app, went ahead and scheduled it through the app. They told me that I scheduled it for Monday morning. They gave me a 4-hour window. So would have liked to have a slightly tighter window, but fine. Okay, they gave me a 4-hour window, 8 to noon. And since it was being done at my house, it wasn't that big a deal. I knew if I needed to pop out from a meeting or something like that to meet the repair person, I could do that. And then the day before, on Sunday, they sent me a updated message that tightened the window even further between 8:30 and 9:30. So I was like, okay, cool. Now I know I've got this hour time frame. And they were going to call me before. So first thing Monday morning, I get a call from the guy, says, hey, I'm on my way there. I'm going to be there in about 20 minutes. He shows up. I run out. I open the garage. I'm like, do you need me to do anything else? Do you need anything else from me? Nope. They already have access to the car. They can open the car much like a valet would during that service appointment. So it's just obviously available during that specific time frame. He popped in, he replaced the battery. The entire thing was done in probably 15 to 20 minutes. He calls me up again. I just went back and, did some more work. I let him do his thing. He comes back, it's complete, and he goes on his way. And the best part about this, Zach, and I had forgot to tell you as part of this from the original story, it didn't even cost me anything. It was completely free for them to come do this. And so for free, they came to my house, replaced the battery, and everything was done through the app. They have my credit card on file because I've got it in the app for paying for charging and other things. It was just a completely seamless experience.
And I think one of my favorite things about this experience were there's two things. Number one is this was all initiated through a mobile app, number one. And then number two, it was all proactive as well. You got a alert notifying you of something wrong with your vehicle. I made a joke earlier this week, Gabe, saying that I need to get the oil change in my Toyota. And at this point, it would be easier to sell the car, buy a Tesla, and then get the 10,000 mile, service appointment or whatever that would be, because the tech stack is so disconnected from the actual data in my car and the Toyota app. It's just a mess. And that just goes back to the modern car, the modern EV especially. It's engineered as a software defined product, right? We have the ability to share real-time diagnostic data and eliminate that technological barrier that legacy automakers have seen. So I think the remote proactive diagnostics that uses data, Gabe, we love talking about using data, is critical in this. Gabe, in the past, we've talked about satisfaction and delight. So the difference between just simply satisfying your customers, that mediocrity there, or delighting your customers. And in this experience, not only did Gabe's expectations get met with his vehicle service, but again, delighted, creating that extraordinary experience. Well, now, Gabe, are you hooked on the experience? Are you more likely to remain loyal now? Or how do you feel about the brand today?
I can't imagine going back to a legacy brand after this. I've been saying for a while now I can't imagine going back to a regular gas car just in general after driving an EV, but now I've had so much loyalty built up in the interactions that I've had from this service activity. Again, it was just so seamless. You made the joke, Zach, when I told you that it was free initially. You're like, well, you're sending them all this data, so it should be free. And fair point, but I'm willing to share this data because it makes my life easier, because
Mhm.
they're able to personalize the experience for me and proactively address issues that I would have. And that just makes all the difference in the world for creating that delightful experience.
Yeah, and so why are we talking about this in the broadband space? Well, mobile service by itself, it's a powerful customer retention tool. The service is designed to re-engage customers who might otherwise abandon their official service appointment. I'm not going to tell you how many times I've done that due to the inconvenience of it all. And that sets a really high barrier for competitors as well. These legacy vehicles don't have that embedded telemetry data to proactively identify service needs in many cases. At the end of the day, another thing we're looking at too is the service industry versus the broadband industry. They both have this risk of commoditization, right? So moving beyond simply satisfying your customers and truly delighting them is something you have to do. So with things like mobile service with Tesla and Rivian and these others as well, it's become a critical part for them to accelerate growth, take back some of that market share as well, and then maintain that strong brand image despite any operational or competitive challenges that they face as well.
Yeah, well said. And like you said, it's just about creating that perfect competitive differentiation. And with that communication through the app, I didn't tell you this part either, but the other thing that they did once the service was completed, guess who got an alert in the app to leave a review? Immediately. As soon as that person left, there was an alert that popped up that said, please leave us a review and tell us about the experience that you had. So they're doing that closed loop process of proactively identifying an issue, addressing that issue in a very convenient way for the customer, and frankly, a way that is so different from the experience that all of us have had with car repairs in the past. And then immediately after that, creating that closed loop touch point of tell us about the experience so that we can leverage that for marketing purposes and really just understanding how the overall experience was for that consumer.
So to wrap this up, what we just talked about is transforming service into this effortless, proactive, convenient experience and how it shifts your brand narrative from being that transactional provider to being a indispensable lifestyle partner, cementing loyalty and turning that operational excellence into a powerful marketing engine. And Gabe, that's the ping. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow Buffering on your favorite podcast app. And for more insights and updates, be sure to connect with Gabe and I on LinkedIn. We'll be back soon with another brand moment worth breaking down.